Brad, Club America, obviously a big name. Big. Does it resonate with you in any way? And also, have you done the math, or the staff done the math on what your situation is for advancing?
No, but I believe you have.
Win by 2 would be, I think, would be.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, Club America is such a big name, in the world as well as the CONCACAF region. So for us, it's almost like a bucket list moment for many of us, either players or coaches. So, one thing we won't do is just to be here to participate and to pick up jerseys after the game. We definitely want to make sure that we compete and do our job and show up like we have so many times here at City Park.
Probably with Club America having a new coach and only 2 games into the regular season, does it make it more difficult to prepare for a team like that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously they have a couple of new faces, but majority of the squad remains the same. I mean, the good thing is Klaus worked with Andre Jardim. They worked together at some point in their careers. So, we had a few pointers there from Klaus. We had 2 games to see what they've done, So we have a good idea. And that's all we needed, is a good idea. And I would say there's a lot of things that, could transition or migrate from the Columbus game into this game. It's teams that value the ball, teams that play short passes, teams that want to lure you in and play around or through you. So there's a lot of those moments that we take out of the last game and put it forward to this game. So, they have a very controlled midfield with Jonathan Dos Santos, and they're very fluid over the wings as well. They push their fullbacks up really, really high. So, yeah, listen, they're a tricky opponent, no doubt. But again, we've proved so many times this season that against ball-playing teams that we can do really well against as well.
Jared Stroud said the same thing as far as the style of play that Club America has. Didn't fare well against Columbus. What can you look to do differently as far as personnel or tactics or anything that your players could take in mentally against Club America?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think many people feel uneasy about the Columbus game, but it didn't fare well. We conceded 2 set pieces, right? So we didn't concede from the run of play. There were a couple of moments that they get caught offsides in behind and score the goal, and it's offsides. So we don't take those into account either. But yes, there were certain moments that we could for sure have done better. So it's about us being connected, being collective, and, just making sure that we very proactive in our principles. And if that's anything to go by the last game, I felt we let ourselves down there with the proactiveness and getting into good spots early and then jumping on the balls and jumping on the passes. We just missed 1 or 2 moments that felt uneasy and uncomfortable. But then you think about it, Joa has a chance right at the end to tie the game, and then we're talking about a different game and then potentially a penalty shootout. So, there's a lot of theoreticals, and that game goes in the history books now, and we're looking forward now with a new, fresh mindset.
Coach, I guess you've seen enough games other teams have played. What's the difference, style of play, attitude, etc., in the Mexican League and MLS?
Yeah, I just think from a technical aspect, the guys are very comfortable technically wise. And then you're having a look at, there's a certain feistiness to the individual characteristic of the player. So they bring a bit of both to the world, like our principles against the ball and with the ball. They bring a lot of those with the ball principles, but with the feistiness as well. So, I'm expecting a chippy, edgy game, of which, that's our style. That's what we want to embrace and challenge them with. And, they'll live up to that challenge. And then it's just about who wants it more, to bring their style of play through and their principles. So, I'm excited about this prospect against a very good team. We always said we want to challenge ourselves with the best teams. And this is, no doubt one of the best teams we've ever going to be facing.
Justin? Coach, one of the main talking points of the League's Cup has been just the travel that the Liga MX clubs have to go through to get here. City is obviously no stranger to weird travel situations, but do you view that as kind of an advantage, Club América coming into City Park with the travel and chase to get here?
No, I think all what we've done is been really good hosts, right? So we've offered our training facility. Club America is using our facility 3 times while we're here. We're being, a good host and a good teammate, right? So what happens on the field of play and the competition that is about to begin, or not for us, for them, we want to be in control of what we can control, and as well, we want to be a good host, right? So we had a 5-hour delay in Columbus by the weather, right? So again, I think it doesn't make a difference if you're traveling or it's happened to us traveling internally inside America. America's so big, it feels like you're traveling to a different country if you fly east to west, or some of the travel that we might have had, or arriving at 6 a.m. again, and playing 3 days later, or going from Toronto to LA and then back again against Miami. So, I don't really take that too much into account for outside teams. They are here. We are here to do a job. They are here to do a job, and it's part of their process too. They've just very fresh into their new season. And again, we're trying to be good hosts.
Coach, two quick questions. The first, as far as playing in international competition, we talked about the growth of your players, specifically young ones, getting opportunities. How huge is it for them to play a top team internationally to continue to expose just how talented they are and where they can go?
Yeah, massive. I mean, we've achieved so much history in the space of 7 months, right? 7.5 months now, what have you. And every day, even if we might drop points or lose a game or slip up somewhere along the line, we still see that as growing moments. Who would have known to build us up, to these type of moments? We represent in the Open Cup, and we have a good game against Union Omaha 5-0, and then we start rotating rosters, and then we start becoming so competitive internally that it drives us to greatness and history in our 23 matches in the season, right? So there's so many firsts and so many positives to draw out of this, and I think this is definitely one to put on the list to grow. And I mean, we got nothing to hide, and we got all to gain, right? So we have a lot of confidence going into this game. We have nothing to lose, and it's an interesting opponent, and it's a really good opponent. So we're excited about this prospect, and there's so many more moments for us to grow in this season. But we're just taking this one game at a time and see where we go after that.
Certainly one of those great storylines, A.Z. Jackson gaining some international notoriety, maybe a couple of leagues here and there across the pond. Can you speak to his development from not being able to get into a Minnesota team to getting those things this year?
Yeah, listen, you have to start with, we call it his toolbox, right? He has a couple of good tools in his cabinet, in his locker room. And if he gets those, repeatedly, and we try and enforce these moments and stay connected with his principles, how they align with our principles. And the minute there's a misalignment, then AZ or we are, very negatively impacted. I think AZ can help us in such a big way, but we have to be aligned with our principles. And he's, done his job on his end to make sure he's aligned himself with the team and with the club. And I think he's grown from game to game to game, and you can see that, right? So, just thinking about young players go through different moments in their careers, through different moments in their pathways in a season, right? So we've managed to get AZ on a pathway that is in line with what we are doing, and I think you can see the benefit that it gets to himself and to the team. So it's good following this, but again, it's 3-4 matches that maybe have been now on the run. So we cannot drift too far away from the alignment, and the misalignment. We want to stay true to who we are and help each other along this journey. And young players go through moments, right? And it's totally natural. We've seen many young players through our group have different emotional moments, have different professional moments. And the biggest thing and the biggest job for our staff is to keep guys aligned and to keep guys on the pathway.
I'm going to give the floor here to John Newport, please.
Bradley, you mentioned how much talent this team has and how good they are out on the wings. It seems like they're very quick and very fluid out there. They're very compact defensively. So do you feel like that playing, when you have the ball, playing out wide, getting in good positions, maybe winning 50-50 balls, keep the ball away from them, and maybe forcing them a little bit inside when you don't have the ball, do you feel like that those will be some of the keys to the match? Because they also seem like they're a very balanced team, they're very entertaining, and they're very attack-minded.
Sure, and one of the things that they do really well is in the transition they can hurt you and kill you with the first pass, right? So they have good movement off the ball when the ball turns over. So for sure we have to be, as much as we might want to get around them or through them, we have the likes of Edu Leuven, we have the likes, of Jared Strouds of the world, the Indy Vasilevs, who's an option. So, we have guys that are very comfortable centrally with the ball, but also we have guys out wide who can, penetrate in wide areas. But for us, we have to be connected, and as part of, what we have to do as a group is be connected. And we want to keep the game as compact and as tight as possible. So when we know, and for sure we're going to lose the ball, for sure they're going to lose the ball, it's going to be a battle of transitions. And that's, we've seen in the world of soccer, most goals get scored in transition. So you look at, a couple of the goals from the other night and a couple of goals, from the League's Cup last night even. goals are scored in transition. So it's the battle is who's going to be best with those who, while they have the ball, is balanced in their attack and can cater for, transition players underneath. And we need to cut that out. So, I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Two final questions here.
Is Berkey was practicing today? Is he okay and good to go?
Yeah, he should be good to go. He got through training fine. So, we kept him out, for the previous game. He just had a slight hip flexor going on. So I just needed to calm that down, but he should be good to go.
Couple MVP candidates in this game, Julian Quinones from Club America and Edu Leuven for you. Leuven good to go for this game, and how do you look to mitigate the high-powered attack that Quinones brings?
Yeah, listen, again, like I spoke about the compactness, so for sure Edu's an option, and Edu's available. But Quinones, I can't tell you what roster they're going to put out and who they're going to start. Do they have national players who've come back from the Gold Cup? So, there's eligibility there. There's 2 strikers. There's Martin as well. So, again, we're preparing for both, and they're both target strikers, both hold-up strikers. Quinones is very mobile. He's very powerful. So again, all of these battles and duels fit into our hands, and again, for sure they'll pose us problems, but I think we can pose them some problems too.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you very much.
You got to watch the first game. What was your take as you watched the Columbus game, presumably from the comfort of your own home? On Sunday.
Yeah, I thought for a majority of the game, kind of to touch on what Brad said, I think we could have brought a little bit more of what we wanted to look like against them. Just having a good opportunity to play against a team that loves the ball so much. So could we have gone into them a little bit more? But it's a tough day for the guys. Obviously we've gone through it here at City Park, but when you're on the road and the game gets delayed 4 or 5 hours, it's just a tough day to kind of mentally wrap your head around all the build-up, all the excitement. The adrenaline goes up and down. So overall, that the game didn't end in the result we wanted, but now we get to come back here tomorrow.
Did it make it easier not being there? Since you didn't have to sit through a 5-hour
Yes.
rain delay?
Yeah.
It's been a little over 3 games, Tim, since you guys have scored in the run of play. You've been very successful on set pieces. What do you think it is that the team needs to do differently to turn some of those chances and moments into goals?
Yeah, I think being a little bit cleaner on the ball is always something that we kind of strive at. We're able to be vertical very quickly, but can we make the right decisions and be as clean as we can? And I think that's something that we kind of push in training every day. And I think it's something that we push the guys, especially in the attacking half of the field, to kind of get better at, just because we know that once those things start to flow quickly and they're clean, then obviously that's how quick we can get opportunities.
With previous teams, you played CONCACAF Champions League against teams from Liga MX. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I've played a couple. I played Tigres, Tijuana, Santos Laguna, Chivas it was, right? I've played a good amount of Mexican teams now, and they're always good experiences. Playing down there is always quite the challenge. It gets guys out of their comfort zone for sure, but hopefully that kind of plays to our advantage when they get to come here. They get to see what City Park is like for us, and I think we touched on it a little bit. They're technical teams. Liga MX has a lot of technical players that when you play against them, there is something to it. That USA-Mexico rivalry even goes interleague. So for us, it's I think we have to come out with the right intensity right away, and if they're able to match it, then see who can ride it longer.
Tim, how's it feel to hear your coach mention that the team you're part of is in a push toward greatness? How's that make you feel?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think there's that belief within the team as well, but I think that it's kind of also a driving factor in the locker room that if we're getting that kind of support from the staff and from the club, that we in the locker room have to drive that as well. So it's not just something that he's saying, but something that the locker room has to back up.
Just wanted to hear your thoughts on AZ's development as well, going from player recruit and getting the Minnesota squad to feeling like he found his home here and he can really develop. What have you seen from the back line?
Yeah, AZ, I think he's one of those players that when he first got here, like Brad said, he has all the characteristics. It was kind of just fine tuning it to finally get minutes, and then when he was able to get minutes, take advantage of it. And I think that's what you like to see from young players is when they're able to get those minutes and get the opportunity, can they grab it and kind of run with it? And I think AZ's done a really good job of that. He's hungry for it as well. I think that's one of the best things about AZ at the moment in time is he's hungry to continue to get better, score more goals, create more assists, create more chances for us. And we want to obviously encourage that, but obviously still keep him a little grounded too.
It's a sold-out game. A lot of his fans are coming. But it's our house.
Yeah.
So we have that advantage. What do you think about that?
Yeah, sold out doesn't sound any different than any other game here for sure. But yeah, I think, the Club America travels well. That's just how it is. No matter where they play, they're going to be able to have fans there. So for us, I hope that obviously St. Louis fans outnumber the Club America fans. We'll find out tomorrow night, but I have a pretty strong feeling that they will.
Tim, can you imagine the St. Louis Heat being part of a home field advantage?
Yeah, I can. I mean, they're also coming from Mexico, so I'd imagine it's just as hot down there. So, as much of it can be a home field advantage. The game being played later at night, too, at 9 p.m., it'll cool down by that time a little bit. So that's not kind of the advantage that we want to lean on.
Have you been able to adjust to the heat, or is it no big deal to you after being in Houston?
Yeah, it's okay now. I think once you get a couple of weeks of training in it and kind of getting used to it, you adjust to it for sure.
John Lufo, please, once again.
There we go. Tim, Brad mentioned a few players that he thinks will be key for this match, and one of them that he mentioned is Jared Stroud. And we know how deep this team is and how much talent this team has, but I feel he's not a player that gets mentioned often enough. So just talk about the contributions that he's made to the team and what you think the impact he could have potentially on a big match like this.
Yeah. Stroud does a lot of the dirty work for us. I think it goes a little bit, like you said, it goes a little bit unmentioned. He's a two-way midfielder that's able to create good opportunities for us on the attacking side, and then he's also able to defend in the box, and he has some good moments for us defensively as well. And we rely on him to kind of keep the shape, get the pressing timing, getting the pressing triggers right, and the timing of things right. So, I think he's going to be big for us in this game, especially when, like you said earlier, Club América is going to be good on the ball, and they're going to want the ball. So we're going to rely on his kind of defensive savviness to get us going.
Going back to the Columbus game, what did you see watching the game from the back line? And Coach mentioned the similarities between Columbus and Club America. What did you see from the back line in that performance that maybe you can hope to improve on or stay consistent with in this next match?
Yeah, I thought the back line did a really good job of shifting over. I think Columbus's three attackers with Zelarayan, Ramirez, and Cucho, they do a really good job of kind of just floating around, and that's never easy to deal with as a back line. So if we're able to kind of be aggressive and kind of step into those spaces when they are floating instead of just giving them that kind of space, that's going to be big for us in this Club America game.
You obviously grew up a long way and played a long way from Mexico City, but does Club America have a resonance as the big kind of club that it is?
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, everyone knows of Club America for sure. I wouldn't say that I really followed them growing up, but yeah, I mean, Club America, as you grow up and as you kind of get into soccer, it's one of the first kind of clubs that and especially in North America, I'd say they're probably the biggest club. So it's been pretty cool. Obviously, a couple of American guys have gotten the opportunity to play there, so there is a following here for sure.
That adds something to this game. You guys are playing the biggest club in North America, in a sense.
I'm going to try not to put that kind of expectation on us in the locker room. You know, I think if guys are able to recognize that they're a big club and they have a big standing, then sure, that's great. But I don't think we kind of need to add any of that into it.
Okay. That's all for today. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
great. No problem.